I'm Bett Correa, and I've been an architect and software engineer for 15 years. I know I started when I was 5. It's amazing. But anyways, I don't know, saying that I feel like I'm really old. So today we're going to go over decision-making techniques, and it's really about knowing. That's what you're going to learn from this today. And so we're going to go over what kind of decision are we talking about. Cars? Should I get a different haircut? That's not what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about software, and then we're talking about philosophy and actions that you can take to make better decisions. And like we already went over, you guys can win a set of my books. So why should you bother with any of this? Building software falls into an interesting case of wicked problems, because there's no right or wrong answer. And that's a little bit scary if you really think about it. There's a lot of fields where you know exactly if you did it right or wrong because the customer is like, you didn't give me the right change, right? You know if you're doing something that you did it right or wrong. But software, it's tricky because you don't always know what went right or what went wrong until maybe years later. So today we're going to talk about enterprise decisions, system level, and application level. And if we knew everything, life would be great. But unfortunately, when we have to make decisions about design problems, it's in this weird area where we don't really know everything, and our management's like, you need to give us a decision on this. Does anyone ever have that? Right? Okay. So it's this gray area. Today we're going to be doing this really fun interactive exercise where we are going to make some design decisions about an app. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce it so you can start thinking about it while we're talking. This is going to be a very interactive session, and I hope you guys are okay with that. And the video people are just not even going to get this at all. But I guess they can do it on their own at home. Okay, the purpose of this app is to make it easy to connect with people at the Code on the Beach conference. Wow. Yay. Okay, so the user story. I enjoy talking to somebody, and I ask if I can add them to my network. So they say yes, hopefully. And I take out my phone, and I enter the name into the app. And now the system, I'm going to be connected to all this person's social networks. And then after the conference, I get a list of all the people I met. Okay, so this is just the basic user story for this app that we're going to be designing today in this group. It's going to be interactive. I hope you guys, it's a Saturday, okay? Let's try to relax a little bit. All right, so functional requirements. We have to accept a user or a name entered by the user. We have to connect. We must add all the entered users' names, social media. I was trying to write this and like, how can I make this really simple? Okay, then we have to send them a greeting on every format. So Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these different formats. We want to say like, hey, I met you at the conference, it was really awesome. So it's going to be an automatic thing, so they remember you too. And then we get the email that has the list. So now we have a little idea. Okay, so those are the basic requirements. Now we're talking, remember I named this the Zen of Decision Making. It's all about knowing, okay? It's about knowing. So Zen is all about knowing and being one with the universe, which you guys can read more about in my book. But, so how do we know? Well, there's a bunch of ways we need to know. And first of all, the user story. So we just read the user story. We read the requirements. So we kind of have an idea of how this system should work, but we don't have a lot of information yet. So the next thing we need to do is we need to do contextual inquiry. Anyone familiar with contextual inquiry? No? All right. I talked about it a tiny little bit last year, but it was a year ago. It's probably a lot of code has been written, deleted a lot of lines out of our brains. Okay. So a contextual inquiry helps us understand the user in their context, and we're actually going to run through that today. And then we have quality attributes workshops, or quality attributes. How many of you are familiar with quality attributes? Wow, this is so good. I'm so excited. Okay. And then we have prototyping, and you guys all know that really well, right? Yes, okay, good. So all of these things help us decide. They help us to know. And once we know, then we can decide. All right, so let's go into the philosophies. I was talking, I think maybe to Sean, about what requirements should you be writing for? I think it was you. I hope it was. And you were saying you were talking to somebody and they were like, oh, I'm going to make it so extensible. It's going to be amazing. You can configurable and you can do this and that. And in a million years, someone's going to want to do this. Okay, just relax. Write the code for the problem that you have today. Because this is the problem. Systems evolve. Have you guys ever been involved in a project where you're like, this is the system that's going to end all systems? Yes, it's going to answer every problem. The system, the company is not going to ever need another software system. It's going to do everything. Anyone been involved in like a big, huge, we're going to fix it all? Okay, what happens like 6 months after you deploy it? They're like, oh, but we want to do this other thing. We want to change it. We want to add something else. Systems evolve. I mean, it's very clear. You go from an ape, you go to a caveman, human, and then you have Iron Man. Yes. Okay, so systems evolve, and we have to just get something out so the users can tell us actually what they really needed, unfortunately. So everyone is probably really familiar with Lean, Startup, Eric Ries, excellent, amazing philosophy, and Agile, which is to push your biggest decisions to as late as possible. Now, there's so many building blocks, and I was like wrestling with how can I get all this into 1 hour, but I want it to be interactive too. So what you need is you need a framework, and that's where your architects come in, because you can lay down all the tools and the framework and put in this great cloud foundation so you can do DevOps and roll prototypes out like this and this and this, right? So you want to be able to have that framework in so that you can just try things and prototype and put things in front of users and see where you're going wrong and where you're going right, because you don't really know until you put it out there. So Mary Poppendike, she's a really incredible author. I've heard her speak before. Anyone familiar? Yes? Okay, cool. So abolish the idea that it's a good idea to start development with a complete specification, right? It's just not going to happen because things change. So the philosophy is make decisions that reduce the cost of change later. And that's where your architecture and your frameworks are going to come in. But today we're going to talk about how to know. How can you really know? So let's move into the actions. How can you know? Well, you have to reduce the unknown. First of all, you have to find out what's important. How do you know what's important to the user? You have to run a quality attributes workshop. Now, the thing about this is that users are not the only people that are impacted by software. We have DBAs, we have testers, we have developers, we have configuration management people, we have maintenance people. We have all of these people who are in this ecosystem that are trying to keep this fragile little piece of code that we wrote running, right? And we have so much going on, and security people and privacy people, and all those people actually have an interest in the software we're writing. So what we need to do is run a quality attributes workshop, which will help us find out all of those non-functional requirements. So we laid out the user story about our app, and we know what it's supposed to do. But what about the security specifications? How fast should it run? How modifiable should it be? How reliable? How changeable? So you can see here, there's all these abilities. Security doesn't really fall into that, but it's still important. Usable is another very, very important thing. So all of these different things, what we need to find out is which of these are important. And if you're writing an air traffic control system, you're going to have a whole different set of which ones are important versus an app to collect someone's name so you can connect with them on Facebook. It's a different level. But what you want to do is bring all of these people in and talk to them. and then do the trade-offs, because security is going to slow it down, so it's going to be a little bit less fast. I don't know where fast is on there. Fastability. So all of your trade-offs are important. And if you have everyone in the same room, which is not always possible, but it's great, you can have that discussion. Like, okay, logging, how much logging do we need to do? I was just hearing about logging earlier today. Logging slows things down, but it's very important when you're trying to find out where bugs are. So you have all these trade-offs, and you need to have as many people as you can in the same room. And Carnegie Mellon's Software Engineering Institute has great materials on how to run quality attributes workshops. We're going to just talk about it at a high level today. So this is how you basically create a quality attribute. So it's very specific. It's not a, well, I want it to be reliable. Oh, it has to have a specific set of attributes. Okay, so we have a source of the stimulation. So that's like the beginning part. And then that happens, the stimuli happens. And then you have an environment and an artifact that are along with that. This is all very, I'm going to give you an example in 1 second. And then you have a response, and you have a specific response time. So this is very, very accurate and clear. It's not, I just want it to be fast. No, you need to know how fast does it need to be. And this is what it looks like. So for our application that we're talking about today, we have the user, they enter the name into the app, we show a confirmation, that's the expected result, and this is how long it's going to take. All right? So that's quality attributes. Quality attributes are really powerful and amazing, and if you even just go back and start talking about them with your dev teams, you're going to be able to make better decisions right away. It's really, really great stuff. And I think I have more things in the resources section that talk about that. The next part is really exciting. So contextual inquiry. Have you guys ever heard of a company called IDEO? Yes? Okay, great. Stanford's Design School also is very much into this. So what it is they use this for development of toasters, for instance. So they go into the family's house, the kitchen, and they like put a toaster down, and they watch the family use it, and they ask like, oh, well, why are you using a knife to pull the bread out? Well, because it's not popping up. So when you start asking questions like why, and you're looking at them do things, you start learning about how your users actually use your applications. Has anyone ever done any of this kind of research? All right, good, good, good. And any kind of interesting things come out of it that you weren't expecting?
Well, I'd say that the thing that I learned is that we looked at an existing process that our users were using, and we found that it was causing them to be inherently unproductive. And it mainly had to do around with the performance of a third-party tool that they're using. So one of our goals, I guess it could be considered a quality attribute, was to improve that aspect of the process so that they could react a lot faster.
That's amazing. And do you guys want to share anything? Yes?
It also introduced a lot of noise.
It introduced a lot of what?
Noise. So
okay, tell me.
When you get a lot of feedback, there's a lot of white noise in that.
Right.
You have to be discerning what actually constitutes something that is valuable and to implement in your future.
That's a very good point, and I hear this a lot from people who say, Steve Jobs, if he had asked people what do they want, they'd be like, oh, I want a better, regular home phone or something. I don't know. He has a quote. But anyways, the thing is this, we're not going and just asking them, oh, what kind of things do you want? What do you feel like doing? This is actually watching them do a task. So if we're automating a manual task, you would want to watch them do the manual task from end to end. A really important thing that you guys need to do when you're doing this is you have to ask them, how do you know you need to do this task? And when you ask them that, you learn a lot of interesting things. Okay, I don't want to give away stuff during our exercise because I really want to see if you guys come up with some interesting things. But that is incredibly powerful. And also the 5 whys. You guys know about the 5 whys from Toyota? Okay, so when you ask 5 whys, you start really getting down to the core of a real problem. And like you were saying with your users, if you ask them, well, why are you doing this? Well, because the system doesn't come back fast enough. So I go to Google, and you start, well, why? And then you start digging in, and you actually find the root cause of a problem. And it doesn't usually take 5. It's usually like 1 or 2, and then you find out. Yes?
One of the other things you find out when you do that is that a lot of times you run into users that have been doing things a certain way for so long that they don't want to change.
Yes.
We
That-
run into that a lot, where they don't want to change. They've been doing something manually for years.
Right.
Every day at the end of shift, they send out an email saying, this is what we did today.
Yes.
We're trying to write a system that says, this is what's happened right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't like it because it's not what they used to do.
Yeah. User resistance is a huge problem, but if you bring them into the process and help them realize that they are involved, that helps a lot. So Contextual Design is a book, which I believe is in my resources section, that gives a whole process. So Contextual Inquiry is just the first part. And just like you said, there's a lot of noise. What you do is you first gather a lot of different people's input on how the process works. And you watch different people. You watch experts, you watch a child use the toaster, you use all these different inputs on their stories, and you document the full story step by step and asking why and put those in notes. And then you do a really cool thing where you take all the stories and you put up in a room and you go through and you start condensing them down and you look for patterns. And then you take those users, take a representative from that user group, and you bring them in and help redesign the entire process. And then you automate that. Don't automate stupid things. So that way, if that user is involved, then the other user's like, hey, Joe helped. It's not that good. It's actually going to be good. But that's building trust, which we did talk about last year. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, building trust is very important. Okay, so how do you actually do contextual inquiry is you walk through the task and ask why and ask how does it start. Okay, we are going to now start the exercise. Okay, I need you guys to get into groups of 5. All right? You guys have to talk to each other. Oh my gosh, I'm a software engineer. I don't want to talk to people. Okay, guys. 5, groups of 5. Groups of 5. They need 2 people. It looks like each of you could go onto one of these rows. Okay. Okay, you guys need to assign roles. Developer, database admin, tester, system admin. Okay, so you guys all decide. I'm not going to project manage this, guys. Is everyone in a group? You have to absolutely be in a group. Okay, does everyone know what their role is? Raise your hand if you didn't get a role yet. Okay, I want all the users to raise their hands. This is a test. Who's the user over here? Okay, raise your hand if you're a user. You're the user? You guys, you're the user? Okay. Every group? Okay, good. That was just a test. Okay. All right, everybody. I need all the architects all the developers to raise their hand. Developer. Okay, good, great. Okay, so now what we're going to do is the developer. I'll just let them decide. Pick one of the 2 actions, either attributes. You're going to work on some quality attributes, or you're going to do a contextual inquiry, and I want you guys to go through it with each other as a small little group, and I want you guys to write down something you found out, and then I'm going to go around the room and let people share. So I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes. This is a mini workshop, guys. We only have an hour.
Cool.
All right, everyone got it?
Yes.
Okay, go.
Well, by the time we figured out who was left out, I guess they had already assigned, I don't know.
Oh, man.
No, don't worry about us.
Oh, man. But you guys are working?
Yeah, we got 4.
You guys can be in there?
Right, that's
we're
what I
actually
asked.
we're gonna do a lot of exercise, so it's better if you guys get in now.
Right.
All right, get in.
Okay.
Tell them like, yeah, I'm here. All right, I want to hear from the let's see, who have I not picked on? I want to hear from a database admin on how things went. Database admin over here. All right, tell us how did it go, Ryan. Oh, here, stand up and let me give you the mic. This is going to make you really nervous.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so first of all, which one did you select?
We went with the second option, I guess, technically.
Okay, so you guys were doing contextual inquiry.
Yes.
Okay.
And what we found was initially that when the user put the name in, that the desired name didn't have any social media.
Oh,
so
wow. No social media. No social media.
So.
Okay, so what's the design decision that would drive from that?
I'm guessing that if we're going to have a user listed, we should have them also include all of their media, social media networks they're using, if they have any, and if they don't, why are they using the service in the first place?
Interesting. Okay, did you guys all hear that? If the person doesn't have any social media, why are they using it?
Yeah.
So that could drive some other things. Anyways, I want you guys to do this work. This is for you guys, this exercise. I'm gonna just design this thing up here. Okay, thank you, Ryan. Awesome. Okay, any other database admins who wanna volunteer what they learned? Yes. I'm connected to this, so I actually have to turn on.
All right, so
All right, Michael.
yes, I am a database admin, and so the answer is no.
No?
But
Which one did you do? Which one?
but besides that, so we went with the second option. We did the contextual inquiry. We had our user Tom collect some information from Sean, and he didn't have a good connection to the network, and so that made that really difficult. It was really loud in here, and so he was having trouble hearing Sean, and so he was trying to read the name badge and spell things, and so there was a lot of difficulty in collecting that information.
So what are some design decisions that came from that realization?
So some of the design decisions we came to is that perhaps we could use QR codes, some other digital way of transferring the information very quickly from badge to app. Even low tech stuff like maybe with the badge are also printed some cards. And you just pass the card out.
Wow!
Imagine that.
It's so revolutionary.
And we also thought about downloading the entire registration database to the app so that it's available right there. You don't have to connect in order to look up somebody's name.
Very interesting.
Cool
I
stuff.
really like some of the things I'm hearing so far. Okay, let's have someone maybe in that back row share. Yes. Okay. Which one did you guys select?
We selected the second one, the contextual inquiry.
Okay, everyone seems like that. Okay, go ahead and tell us what you found out, Tim.
We pretty much found out that we don't like sharing information with other people.
Oh.
And that we wanted a way to restrict that type of information. So it's like, hi, I just met you, but I don't want to know that much about you. Or I thought you were cool, but not cool enough that I want you to know every friend I have on Facebook, everyone I know on Twitter. So a way of limiting what we would then allow people to see. So a means to select, like, I'll let you be in LinkedIn, and that's how we'll know each other. Or I'll just let you be friends on Facebook.
So the design decision you're saying is maybe there's buttons that you can pick which social networks you want to connect with this person on.
When you sign up for the client app,
Maybe.
you can select which options you want to share.
Do you guys see how just doing this little discussion is helping you make design decisions? Because now you have to make certain ideas about what connections do you want to set up, or how do you do customer sign up? The QR codes, do you have to have everybody go online and register for something like that and then generate it? So there's all these interesting things that if you just started hacking away, you may not realize, and then when you put it in front of a user, you're like, oh shoot, I got to go and redesign something. Okay, did anybody do quality attributes? Nobody? Oh, man. Guys, I have all of you as a different type of user specifically so we can get a security person in there, a DBA in there, and talk about all these different things. Well, guess what, guys? You're now going to do the other one. Oh, shoot. Okay, so at least one design quality attribute for the other one, and don't worry about the 5 whys. But let's go ahead and talk about that. So break back into your little groups and pick some attribute. Let me go back to this picture so that you can actually look at all the different attributes. Okay, so go through these and think about which of these do you want to design something very specific for. And you guys have 5 minutes. So go. Can I see the hands of all the system admins that are system admins for this exercise? Okay, good. All right, I'm going to start back here. Oh, man, I have to get back there somehow. No, we need it for the recording. All right, Philip. Which attribute did you pick?
So we did the security, and I guess what we were just talking about was we didn't want our information to be out there in the public. So that was kind of our line in the sand, and we figured that we need some kind of security on who can register for it, or you need to basically prove that you're part of the Code on the Beach with your registration code before you can access the data. So not anybody can just go out there and view your stuff, because you don't want to give that permission to everybody.
Right,
so
right.
that's what we
Excellent.
came up
Thank
with.
you so much, Philip.
Yep.
Okay, system admin Fred. What did you guys talk about?
We talked about a couple different things, but reusability was one of the big ones.
Oh,
so
really? Reusability?
at more than one
Wow.
conference, you could use this app in
Oh,
year after
you
year.
have a business model.
Yeah, potentially.
All right.
You may want to partition the
Find this
conference
on the
so this
App
year,
Store
next year,
next
under
week.
the same conference.
Yes.
Shareability, so how
Why not?
you can encourage other
Great.
people to download the app, so you could bump and share.
Do you hear
two
all
apps.
this, guys? This is amazing. Okay, wow, great. Any specifics around it, or is just basically a general? I mean, it's going to drive a lot of design decisions, obviously, because you can't just hard code it to this. Okay, cool.
Right.
Wow, nice job. Okay, system admin. All right, Craig.
So we talked primarily about reliability. So
Reliability, nice.
networking might not be available, Wi-Fi might be busted, what have you. So we
Right.
talked about perhaps the necessity of a durable message queue, local storage, that type of thing, still being able to keep track of all the information that you've taken in, so you could send your message out at the end of the summary and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So
That's amazing. This was a 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes, and we've already got all kinds of different ideas. Do you guys see how powerful this is for driving decisions? I mean, this stuff is really, really great stuff. Okay, so let's now go into, we've gone to all of those. Let's talk about prototyping for a little bit. So prototyping seems really obvious because I think we all realize it. But I think lately we've been realizing more and more in the industry that prototypes don't have to be this perfect thing. It could be anything. You worked on the Google Glass somewhat, a little bit. I'm sure everyone's seen that video, a TED Talk, where they showed how they prototyped the Google Glass. Has everyone seen that video? I think they used a hanger wire or something.
Prototype. Yeah, we
Yeah.
went and bought a little Pico projector at an office supply store, and then we
Talk
bought a
about it.
little Pico projector at an office supply store, and then we made this thing out of stuff we found around the office that included binder clips and wire hangers. And we just put one of those transparent sheets of plastic for putting your book report in. We just kind of wired it so it's about that far from you. And then we just pointed the Pico projector at it and then tried to use it as a computer. We learned a lot, and that only took like a couple hours to put together.
Yeah, so they prototyped something for Google that was going to change how people use computers within a few hours. So when you think of prototypes, you don't have to make something very fancy. You could draw anything. Anyone use My Balsamic? Yes, I think it's amazing. You can whip up something so fast in there and you can put it in front of people because I know you guys all have these really great ideas about reusability and reliability, but until you put it in front of even yourself, because we're really all users of this application, right? We don't really know how it's going to work. And once we start playing with it, then we realize, oh boy, this is not going to happen. This was interesting, a lot of interesting things. The idea of them not being on a social network. I don't want to connect with them on my Twitter because I don't know, I twit pictures of my cats all day or something. I don't want anyone to know about it. I don't know why you're doing that, but whatever. But I'm saying, you have business networks, and you have social networks and all these different things. So those kind of design decisions have to come out of that prototyping. And the whole idea of lean is make the smallest little prototype, put it in front of someone, find out if it's even viable. Because you could be wasting your time. Maybe everyone just has business cards and they just want to hand them out, right? You could be spending months designing something that no one's even going to use. So prototyping is extremely, extremely important. All right, so in conclusion from actions is you have to learn what's important. And that's where we did the quality attributes. I'm really glad I forced you guys to do that. I was really surprised that no one picked quality attributes for the beginning. I guess it's just not that much fun. I mean, the Software Engineering Institute did come up with it, but it is really important. And I think you guys saw that when you actually were forced to do that. So yes, I forced you guys to do something hard on a Saturday night. And prototype, get it in front of the users as soon as quickly, and you then want to identify issues and change. The whole thing is we're not trying to make some big decision and be like, this is set in stone. If you guys have two, I was thinking about this a lot, if you have two equally viable solutions, right? There's two things that could be fine. What you should do is always go with the one that reduces the cost of change later. So if you have two cloud providers, but one of them you're locked into and the one you can get out of quickly, go to the one that you can get out quickly, because that way, if you need to change to maybe a package solution, then you're not going to be locked in. So it's just really important to always reduce the cost of change later, because things always change. It's just the only thing you can count on. So today we've talked about how to know, find out what's important, and then you can decide. If you know, then you can decide. The answer will come to you. And we've talked about user stories, contextual inquiry, quality attributes, everyone's favorite, and prototyping. All right, now it's time to do the drawing. Woo! Where's the little thing? All right, did everyone get a chance? By the way, today, all my books are $9.99, but if you want to, you can buy 3 of them for $20. So, and I will autograph them. Yeah. So, thank you. So, all right. Wow, this is so great. All right, I should have someone else pick it, right? Or no, I should pick it. Do you want to pick it? No? Just give it to somebody? I mean, I'm impartial, right? Did people write more than one name on here? Okay. Tim Denton. Tim, all right. All right, thank you, Tim. So here's a bunch of resources.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yep. All right, so I referenced a lot of things. I am a big Audible fan. I know Al talked about Audible. He and I talked afterwards. It was amazing. So I go through like 1 to 3 books a week, probably, on average. So it's pretty crazy. I have a problem. I need to join some kind of society to like fix my problem. But anyways, so lots of resources here if you guys want to take a picture. I can send you the slides. I sent them to Jonathan last year and he got a promotion. You know, results may vary. I know, I'm like, Jonathan. 20 years from now, Jonathan. It's so great.
I too should share.
Oh, please.
I asked you on LinkedIn, I was offered a position at my company as a program manager, as user experience program manager, and I was a development manager. I said, should I do it?
Yes.
You sent me back a response with great advice and some reading material.
What did I say? I don't even remember.
It worked out really well.
Good. Good job, Bett. Thank you. Thank you.
100% success.
100%. Everyone. So thank you guys. And all of my secrets are in my books. I just write them. I have a writing problem also. Oh yeah. Did everyone get to take a picture of this, or I can send you the slides or whatever you guys want. But you're never gonna be able to keep up with my reading list. It's just too much. It's overwhelming. Okay, but if everyone's good, wow.